welcome back. All right, 8-game night tonight in the National Hockey League, which for a Tuesday is actually pretty light. I'm also going to say, too, that starting tomorrow, the previews will be included with the news video. It was pretty much everybody universally agreed, yep, the preview videos, if you want to drop those, you can. So that makes things a lot easier for me in terms of setting things up and getting videos done before we go on vacation. It just makes, it honestly makes things a little easier on my end, personally. All right, so we're going to start off talking about the Buffalo Sabres and the Boston Bruins. So with Swayman versus Luukkonen, there's an early press by Buffalo. Shots are 3-1 Sabres at 3 minutes. The Bruins press at 4.5 minutes. The Sabres then get some pressure at 8 minutes. There's a near miss for Kozak on a rebound. Tuck to Zucker, near miss there. Poitras fires one wide on a rush. The Sabres press with 8.5 minutes left. And at 12:44, Mason Lowry puts Boston on the board first. He puts it far side from the left circle. But at 13:38, less than a minute later, Buffalo answers. Thompson with a one-timer from the slot on a rush. Cousins and Peterka with the assists. So it's a 1-1 tie. Quinn has a rush chance that saved. Shots are 9-5 Buffalo with 4.5 minutes left. The Sabres get some pressure with 2 minutes left. And they played really well in the first period, did those Sabres, but it's 1-1 after one. Second period, early press by the Bruins. Koepke has a net drive where he's poke checked by Luukkonen. Sabres get pinned down, but they're blocking the net pretty well. Shots are 3-1 Boston at 3 minutes, but then at 4:43, on a turnover rush, a tic-tac-toe play ends up on the stick of Tage Thompson. He scores from McLeod and Samuelsson. Then the Sabres press for another. They would eventually get it. At 6.5 minutes, Peterka goes glove side on a rush from a distance. You need a save there. Power and Thompson with the assist, so it's a 3-1 lead for Buffalo. Sabres press at 8 minutes. We get a power play for the Bruins. That's killed off. Pika has a shot that's held as the Bruins press. Coyle has a net feed that's picked off. With 1:02 left, the Sabres get a power play. So they're up 3-1 after two are the Sabres, and they have a power play rolling over into the third. In the third period, to start with, the Bruins finish the kill. Boston presses at 1.5 minutes, but at 3 minutes and 13 seconds, Tage Thompson scores one from the slot for his 7th career hat trick. Darlene and Byram with the assists. It's 4-1 for Buffalo. Geekie has a net feed that's blocked. We get a power play for Buffalo. That becomes 44 seconds of 4-on-4. Boston has a power play on the other side of that, and they score on it. Marchand wires one from the slot. Lindholm and Pasternak with the assists at 10:13. Bruins press for another, or look for another anyways, and then at 10:43, Peterka puts one over Swayman on a rush. Kulik with the assist there, and suddenly Buffalo has their 3-goal lead back at 5-2. Shots are 10-6 for the Sabres with 6.5 minutes left. The Bruins would pull the goaltender, which allows Peterka to hit the empty net at 14:26 for what appears to be, yep, that's his hat trick goal as well. So 2 hat tricks for Buffalo Sabres today. The game gets kind of fighty late. The Sabres come out with a power play, and at 19:47, Benson has one that deflects glove side. Quinn and Cousins with the assists. Buffalo with the no mercy victory, 7-2. They go to 19-26-5 with the win. Boston 25-21-6 with a costly loss. Shots on net, 10-5 Buffalo in the first, 13-9 Boston in the second, 14-9 for Buffalo in the third. Final shots are 33-27 for the Sabres. Power plays, Boston 1 for 2, Buffalo 1 for 3. The hits 20-17 for Buffalo. Swayman saves 26 out of 32. Luukkonen saves 25 out of 27. And for anybody who doesn't know, because I know they're going to be asking which jersey this is my Malarchuk, Clint Malarchuk jersey. So when I got one of these, it was actually an Eichel jersey, and then he got traded and everything got ugly. So I was like, well, I still like this jersey. We'll get one with a different player on it. So I got a Malarchuk instead. All right, next up. The Winnipeg Jets and the Montreal Canadiens. So it's Hellebuck versus Montembeault. Gallagher has a slot shot. That's held. The shots are 4-1 Montreal 3 minutes in. Montreal got off to a very good start in this game. Connor has a net feed that's blocked. The Jets press at 5 minutes. Iafallo has a screenshot that saved. The Habs' speed was driving the Jets crazy early in this one. Shots were 10-2 for Montreal at 9.5 minutes. And at 11:03, Slavkovsky with a wrister from the left circle scores from Suzuki and Caulfield. It's 1-0 Montreal. Baron Iafallo, there's a near miss there. Dvorak has a net feed that's held. And then at 15:34, Connor buries a rebound in close to tie the game. Velarde and DeMello with the assists. With 3:46 left, the Jets get a power play. That is killed off by Montreal. The Habs press in the final minute. It's 1-1 after one. Second period, the Jets press at 1.5 minutes. The shots are 3-0 Winnipeg at 3 minutes. Newhook fires one wide from the slot. The Jets press at 6.5 minutes. There's a near miss for DeMello on a rebound. Jets draw a power play. That's killed off. But at 10:44, Scheifele scores from Velarde and Morrissey. I think that's his 29th goal already. The Habs look to respond, but late in the period at 19:58. Connor buries one on a pass from behind the goal line. Nice wrist shot by Connor. And Gustafsson runs his point streak up to 4 games. So it is 3-1 for Winnipeg after 2. Third period, early press by the Habs. There's a kick save on Suzuki after a failed clear by Winnipeg. Shots are 2-0 for the Habs at 3.5 minutes. The Habs press again at 8 minutes. More pressure by them at 9.5 minutes. Hellebuck was very good tonight. Shots are 5-2 for Montreal at the half. We get a power play for Winnipeg. Morrissey has a shot that's held. That's killed off. Anderson with a near miss on a breakaway as he was trying to get one to get this game a little closer. The goalie pull happens with 2:15 left, and at 18:15, Rasmus Kupari hits the empty net from Ehlers and Perfetti. Your final score in this one's 4-1 for the Jets. They go to 35-14-3 with the win. Montreal misses out on an opportunity to gain some ground on teams ahead of them. They are 24-21-5 on the season. Shots on net, 15-7 Montreal in the first, 13-3 Winnipeg in the second, 7-4 Montreal in the third. Final shots are 25-24 for Montreal. Power plays Winnipeg. They go 0 for 3, which is unusual for them. Montreal did not have a power play in this game. The hits 40-13 for Montreal. Hellebuck saves 24 out of 25, and Montembeault saves 20 out of 23. Now we go to Chicago and Tampa. So Soderblom versus Johansson. Teams trade turnovers, and at 3:34, Point goes far corner from the inner slot, so no chance for Soderblom there. Kucherov and Gensel with the assists. Very early in this, it's 1-0 Tampa, and I thought, well, good. Tampa Bay played Chicago last week, and Chicago outplayed them at points. Eventually, Tampa Bay came back in that one. The Bolts press for another. Nick Paul's denied on a breakaway. The Hawks press at 7.5 minutes. The shots were 5 apiece with 8.5 minutes left. We had a fight between Foligno and Girgensons, kind of. It's kind of a punchy game. The Bolts emerged with a power play there. That's killed off with 3:43 left. Tampa Bay goes back to the power play, and it's a 4-minute power play. Chaffee has an in-close chance that's held, and then in the closing seconds, it's Mitchell Chaffee again, and he hits a crossbar. So after the first period, it is 1-0 for Tampa. It could have been much worse for Chicago. So to start the second period, the Hawks finish killing off that double minor. Tampa Bay presses after it's done. The shots are 2-1 for the Bolts at 5 minutes. Nazar with a near miss on a turnover for Chicago. The Hawks press at 6 minutes. We get a power play for Chicago. That becomes 1 minute and 37 seconds of 5-on-3. You cannot do that. Chicago has a good power play, and from an impossible angle. My lord. It wasn't a 5-on-3 goal. It was during the 5-on-4 on the other side of it. But Bedard, there's so little room there, and he finds it. He scores from Jones and Foligno at 10:19, so that ties the game at 1. Tampa Bay presses with 8 minutes left. There's a near miss for Chiarelli from the slot. The Hawks press with 2.5 minutes left, and eventually they get the lead. Slaggert scores from Reichel at 18:14 to make it 2-1 for Chicago. And then the Hawks press for another, so after 2 periods of play, it's 2-1 Chicago, and they got some momentum going into the third period. In the third period, there's an early press by Chicago. Point has a one-timer that saved. Shots are 4-1 Tampa at 4.5 minutes. Paul's denied as there's more pressure by Tampa here. 6 minutes in, they get more pressure, but at 8:02, on a weird bounce off the boards, Ryan Donato buries one to extend the lead for Chicago. Jones and Khrushchev with the assists, so lucky bounces are lucky. Kucherov then has a one-timer that's kicked aside. Bertuzzi and Asimont kind of went at it then after a hit on Bedard. Bedard was getting a penalty there as well for, I think it was for a trip or a high stick or whatever it was. There's just basically everybody's at everybody, and it ends up being 5-on-5. That way, nobody's happy. Bolts press with 5 minutes left. The goalie pull happens with 4 minutes left. Kucherov to Paul. That chance gets blocked out. Then a net feed to Chiarelli. That gets blocked as well. And at 19:03, Teuvo Teravainen hits the empty net. Dickinson with the assist. Chicago, huge upset tonight. They win in Tampa 4-1. They go to 16-29-5. This is tough for Tampa because now they are absolutely threatening to fall below the playoff line. They're 26-20-3 now. Shots on net, 9-7 Tampa in the first, 11-7 Tampa in the second, 15-6 Tampa in the third. They do outshoot Chicago 35-20. Power play, Chicago 1 for 2, Tampa Bay 0 for 3. The hit 17-11 for Chicago. Soderblom saves 34 out of 35. Finally gets a victory. He's been playing very well this season. Johansson, 16 saves on 19 shots at the other end. All right, last game on this board is Carolina and the Rangers. So Carolina, of course, making that big trade with Colorado. Colorado's the next game on, or well, the first game on the next board. It's the next game we'll talk about. Anderson versus Shesterkin. There's an early jump for Carolina at 56 seconds on a turnover. Svechnikov wires one from the slot. Hall and COL-NYI with the assists. So Taylor Hall on the board there for Carolina. Canes look for another. The shots are 2-1 for Carolina at 4 minutes. We then had a fight between Stillman and Carrick. Lafreniere's denied and close. Anderson holds there. We get a power play for New York. That's killed off. Hall to Aho. That chance gets blocked. Jarvis has a net drive, which is also blocked by the Rangers. We get a power play for Carolina. That's killed off. Cooley has a net drive chance. That's held. It's 1-0 Carolina after 1. Second period. Robinson's denied on a fast break. Shots are 2 apiece at 4 minutes. Hedl runs out of room on a fast break opportunity as well. By the time he had control of the puck, he was almost past the net. Teams exchange rushes. The Canes have a 3-on-2 that's defended. Fox has a shot that's blocked as the Rangers get some pressure. We get a power play for the Rangers. That is killed off. Shots are 8-7 for Carolina with 6.5 minutes left. The Canes press. They're kept to the outside, but with 2:41 left, Carolina goes to the power play, and they score on it. Or just after it's done, they actually score. So they don't score during the power play, but seconds after it, 19:29. Svechnikov scores from Rantanen and Blake, and it was a tic-tac-toe play on a rush with Igor down. So it is 2-0 in favor of Carolina after 2. Third period, 1 minute and 4 seconds in, Aho scores from Svechnikov to make it 3-0 and kind of make those hopes for a comeback disappear quickly. Canes press for another, and they find it. At 2.5 minutes, on a pass from behind the net, Jarvis makes it 4-0. Martinook was the one passing it to him from behind the net. So, yeah, 4-0 lead for Carolina. The Rangers press to respond, but the shots are 4-1 Carolina at 5 minutes. Canes press at 6 minutes. We get a power play for New York. That's killed off. Hall has a net drive chance. That's blocked. Shots are 7-2 for Carolina with 5 minutes left. The Canes press with 3 minutes left, and in the end, they win this one 4-0. They go to 31-16-4 with the win. With the loss, the Rangers 24-22-4. They've started sliding in the wrong direction. The Tony the Tiger Magnets on the board there for Freddie Anderson. Shots on net, 10-8 Rangers in the first, 10-9 Carolina in the second, 8-3 Carolina in the third. Final shots 26-22 for the Carolina Hurricanes. Power plays, the Canes 0-2, the Rangers 0-3. The hits 21-11 for the Rangers. Freddie Anderson, 22 saves for the shutout. He is truly back. Shesterkin, 22 saves on 26 shots at the other end. Time for board number 2. All right, so Colorado and the Islanders. Blackwood versus Sorokin. The shots are 2 apiece at 3 minutes. The teams trade turnovers. Lehkonen has a slot chance that's caught and held. The Islanders press at 5 minutes. Things get pushy on a hold by Blackwood. The Islanders press some more at 9 minutes. Makar fires one wide as the Avs press. McKinnon has a wrister then that's held. The Avs are building some momentum during this period, but Sorokin's not having it. There's a power play for Colorado. That's killed off. The Islanders press with 2.5 minutes left. The Islanders press in the final minute. We stay scoreless after the first. Second period, Avs press at 3 minutes. And at 4 minutes and 11 seconds, Anders Lee goes 5-hole on a net drive. Nelson and D'Angelo with the point with the assist there. So it's 1-0 for the Islanders. The Islanders look for another. The shots are 6-2 Colorado at 7.5 minutes. The Avs press. That draws a power play. That's killed off. The Colorado presses after it's done. McKinnon with a near miss. The Avs are controlling, and then at 13 minutes, Arturi Lehkonen scores to put Colorado on the board. It's a 1-1 tie. McKinnon and Natchez with the assist. And then the Avs look for the lead. In fact, shots are 10-3 for Colorado with 6 minutes left. Things are pushy on a hold by Blackwood. Manson to Drouin. That play at the net gets blocked. The Islanders press in the final minute. It's 1-1 after 2. Third period at 1:54. Holmstrom turns and fires one from the inner slot. No chance for Blackwood there. Pajot with the assist. It's now 2-1 for the Islanders. The Avs press at 4 minutes. The Avs tie it. There's a goalie interference challenge, and sure enough, that pulls the goal off the board. Shots are 2 apiece at 6 minutes. The fans call one. The referee does not. Islanders press at 8.5 minutes. The Avs then get some pressure at the half. And then at 11:23, Bo Horvat, who's heated up a lot lately, he roofs one from in close. Leon Perunovic with the assist. So Perunovic is on the board there for the Islanders. Nice to see. The Avs press to respond. Eventually they do at 14:55. On a fast break during a line change by the Islanders, Jack Drury buries one. Natchez and Manson with the assist. So Drury may have some offensive upside after all. Nelson has a one-timer that's held. And then on a face-off win at 17:31, Romanov buries one. Holmstrom and Cizikas with the assist. So it's 4-2. The goalie pull happens with 2:20 left. And at 18:50, Holmstrom hits the empty net from Pajot. The Islanders win 5-2. They're now 22-20-7 on the season. The Avalanche 29-21-2 on the year. Shots on net, 14-11 Colorado in the first, 12-7 Colorado in the second, 10-6 Islanders in the third. Final shots, 32-28 for the Avalanche. Power plays, Colorado 0 for 2. The Islanders didn't have one. The hits, 33-24 for the Islanders. Blackwood saves 23 out of 27. And Sorokin, 30 saves on 32 shots for the 5th win in a row by the New York Islanders. So the Islanders are still, and that's why anytime I've talked about the standings, I said, you know what, I don't count them out because the Islanders have a way of getting in there when nobody expects it. All right, next up, Washington and Calgary. So this was a fun game because these are both teams that play heavy hockey. These are teams that I'm surprised that the hit totals aren't higher, to be honest, because these teams both play a very heavy, good forechecking game. Thompson versus Wolf, they had a nice tribute to Al McNeil, who recently passed. He was very key in the early history of the Flames in Calgary. There, that's what I was looking for. There's a net feed to Roy that gets blocked, but then at 1:51 on their first shot, Pierre-Luc Dubois scores, or Pierre Dubois, for Washington, so it's 1-0 Caps. Washington presses at 3 minutes. Shots are 2 apiece at 4.5 minutes. The Flames press at 5 minutes. The teams trade rushes. Things are pushy on a hold by Logan Thompson. Shots are 9-4 for Calgary with 4 minutes left. The Flames press with 2.5 minutes left. With 2:02 left, there's too many Capitals on the ice. The Flames to the power play. Anderson has a one-timer that deflects out. That's killed off. And then Rasmus Anderson at the horn can't bury a buzzer beater. So it's 1-0 Washington after one, even though Calgary had tons of chances in that period. So Logan Thompson's bailing out Washington, which he's been doing a lot lately. The analytics say Logan Thompson's been great, even when Washington themselves haven't been. Second period, the Flames press at 2.5 minutes. Frank is then denied on a rebound. Shots are 4-1 Washington at 4 minutes. The Flames press at 4.5 minutes. Mangiapane has a fast break that's defended, so had to be weird for him being in a Capitals jersey in Calgary there. The Caps are blocking the path to the net pretty well. Eller has a chance that's denied from the slot. Things are pushy and a hold by Wolf. The shots are 6-3 Capitals with 9 minutes left. We then get a power play for Calgary, and they score on it. It is Coleman tipping in a point shot. Barry and Kuzmenko with the assists at 12-16. So Kuzmenko's on the board again with a point. Caps press with 5.5 minutes left. We get a power play for Washington, and 8 seconds later, Blake Coleman puts his hand on the puck in the crease and throws the puck. That's a penalty. So you have 1 minute and 52 seconds of 5-on-3. That's too long. And the Capitals score during said 5-on-3. Strome buries a backhand. Carlson and Chychrun with the assist at 15-11. Roy then has a shot that hobbles Sandin. So I don't know if Sandin owes him lunch money or what it is, but the Flames rush after that. Then there's a post for Barry. The Caps clear it out. Washington's ahead 2-1 after 2. Third period. Good early forechecking by the Capitals. Again, both of these teams very good when it comes to the forechecking and the board play. Teams trade turnovers. There's a power play for the Caps. Ovechkin has a one-timer that's caught and held. That power play is killed off. The Flames get a power play. That's killed off as well. The fans call one. The referee does not right after that. Bishop's denied on a rush. The Caps go back to the power play, so the Flames kill that one off as well. Pelche has a chance that's caught and held. Protas has a rush chance that's saved. Uyghur breaks up a 2-on-1, and then with 4:27 left, the Flames get a power play. It's Tom Wilson in the box, and he got a nice front row seat as Protas scores shorthanded on a breakaway. Barry just couldn't catch him. Eller and Van Riemsdyk with the assist 17:35. When I saw Protas had the puck and it was Tyson Barrie trying to catch him, I was like, I don't think Barry's going to have the foot speed to catch Protas. And he didn't. Wilson then took his second penalty in a row pretty quickly after that. And then the Flames pull the goalie to make it 6-on-4. But the Capitals kill that off, and they win this one 3-1. They go to 34-11-5 with the win. The Flames 24-18-7 with the loss. Shots on net, 13-5 Calgary in the first, 12-9 Washington in the second, 11-6 Calgary in the third. The Flames outshoot Washington 33-23. Power plays, Washington 1 for 4, Calgary 1 for 5. The hits 22-15 for Washington. Logan Thompson, great game, 32 saves on 33 shots. And when I say he's bailing out the team, he's obviously part of the team, so that counts. Wolf, 20 saves on 23 shots at the other end. Not a great save percentage for Wolf, but I thought he had a good game. Washington is very smart with their shots, and they've been doing this all year to people. All right, next up, Dallas and Vegas. So this one started out absolutely crazy. Ottinger versus Hill, early jump for Dallas. Vegas scores. Was it offside? Yes. Vegas presses at a minute and a half, and at a minute and 54 seconds, Eichel scores. So Vegas with 2 goals in the first 2 minutes. One of them counts. Barbashev and Stone with the assists. So here we go. And then at 3:41, Bork goes 5-hole from the slot. Duchesne and Heiskanen with the assists. It's a 1-1 tie. Stars press for the lead, but at 6:35, Hurdle buries one from the side of the net. That was the third shot on net for Vegas and their second goal. Haig and Dorofeev with the assists there. It's 2-1 for the Vegas Golden Knights. Stars press at the half, and honestly, the shots are 6-5 for Dallas with 7 minutes left, and the game just really settled in after that crazy start. So we didn't expect a ton of goals in this one, and then early it looked like we might get a bunch, and we really didn't after. Second period, early press by Dallas. Shots are 2-0 for the Dallas Stars 2.5 minutes in. We get a power play for Vegas. That becomes a minute and 1 second of 5-on-3. That's too long. And Dorofeev banks one in off Ottinger's leg. Stone and Eichel with the assists, making it 3-1 for Vegas. However, during the 5-on-4 that follows, Wyatt Johnston buries a rebound on a rush shorthanded. Hintz with the assist at 5:04. And then Dallas finishes the kill. Then we have a 4-minute penalty for Roy. It starts as 35 seconds of 4-on-4. Right, the penalty became a 4-on-4. Everything gets killed off there. That's the important thing. It stays 3-2 for Vegas. Stars press at the half. Hill with some nice saves there. Shots are 9-5 for Dallas with 8 minutes left. Stars press with 3.5 minutes left. And late in the period, we had a lot of whistles. This was very whistle-filled late in that second period. It is 3-2 Vegas after 2. Vegas is pretty automatic if they're leading after 2, right? So, third period. Early press by Vegas. The Stars press back at a minute and a half. Things get pushy on a hold by Hill. Not a lot of that in this game, though. Robertson has a one-timer. That save. Shots are 2-1 for Dallas at 4 minutes. Vegas presses at 7 minutes. And then it happens. So, the play initially looked a lot more nefarious than what it was. And honestly, so Hintz trips Stone, or at the very least puts him off balance. Stone is diving for the puck that Heiskanen has. Because he's now off balance, he actually hit Heiskanen in the side of the leg. His knee bent sideways. Knees aren't supposed to bend that way. So Heiskanen needed help getting off the ice. A couple of players and trainer came out to help him off the ice. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he may not be at the Four Nations tournament when that starts in a couple of weeks. Yeah, so it looked like a chop block initially, and that's what I wrote on the board, but I made sure I put Hintz. Hintz had the trip there. So in the end, Dallas comes out of that with a power play, and Dallas didn't get a shot on it. There was a shorthanded rush by Kolasar that ends it. However, on a rush at 11:54, Wyatt Johnston ties the game. He scores from Hintz and Robertson. He goes far corner on a rush. We have a 3-3 tie. Stone then has a one-timer that's saved. Vegas presses with 6 minutes left. The teams trade turnovers. Vegas presses again with 3 minutes left, but we're going to overtime. Vegas controls on the opening face-off. Ottinger makes a save, and then at 20 seconds, just 20 seconds on a 2-on-1 rush, Johnston gets the hat-trick goal from Hintz and Lindell. So Dallas rallies despite the loss of Heiskanen. They win this one 4-3 in overtime. They go to 32-17-1 with the win. Vegas 31-15-5 with the overtime loss. They are now tied in points with Edmonton. They have more regulation wins than Edmonton, but they've also played one more game than Edmonton. Shots on net, 10-9 Vegas in the first, 13-8 Dallas in the second, 9-6 for Vegas in the third. Both teams had one shot in the overtime. Dallas the shot that matters. Final shots, 29-28 for the Stars. It was a very close game. Power plays, Dallas 0 for 3, Vegas 1 for 2. The hits, 27-15 for Vegas. Ottinger, 25 saves on 28 shots. Hill, 25 saves on 29 shots. But entertaining game? Yeah, it was an entertaining game. Was I nervous? Yeah, I was nervous. All right, last game of the night, Anaheim and Seattle. I'm going to talk about this a bit at the end. So it's Dostal versus Grubauer. Vetrano has a wraparound chance that's held. And then at 1:23, Terry buries a net feed from the inner slot. Strome and Vetrano with the assists. The Kraken press at 2.5 minutes. Cartier's denied, not that they counted that as a shot later on. I guess it wasn't directly on the net. And then at 6:43, Seattle ties at Tolvanen roofs one from the slot. Brandon Montour with the assist there. And then at 8:20 on a wraparound, Stevens buries one. So Stevens with, I think that's his first goal as a member of Seattle too. Oleksiak and Cartier with the assist. So it's a 2-1 lead for Seattle. But we're just getting started. Ducks press to respond. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. At 11:59, Gauthier buries his own rebound on a rush. Fabry with the assist there. It's a 2-2 tie. Kraken press with 7 minutes left. And at 14:01, Schwartz with a cross-ice pass on a rush. He buries it. Kakko and Beniers with the assists. It's 3-2 for Seattle. We're still in the first period. Power play for Anaheim. That's killed off. Zegras is robbed. Grubauer holds on there. With 1:03 left, the Ducks go to the power play. So rolling over into the second period, the score's 3-2 for Seattle. Seattle's got to finish the kill, and they do. But not long after that kill is finished at 1:04, McTavish buries one. That's a 4-game goal-scoring streak for McTavish. The assist to Strome and Lacombe. I love that those rhyme. Then at 5:39 on what's the third shot of the period for Anaheim, they get their second goal of the period. Fabry from McTavish. And then at 7:58 from a distance, Lacombe scores one on the fourth shot of the period. Lundestrom and Leeson with the assists. It's suddenly 5-3 in favor of the Anaheim Ducks. Power play for Seattle, that's killed off. The Kraken press with 5 minutes left. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. As I didn't take a lot of notes because I was worried this game was going to end up like 8-7 or 9-8, something ridiculous. And I put the 80s magnet on the board before we got 10 goals. So we go to the third period with the score 5-3. Pretty wide open. Kraken draw a power play early in the third period. That's killed off. One shot on net for Seattle. Then there's a post for McTavish. Seattle goes back to the power play, and they score on this one. Wright buries a rebound. McCann and Montour with the assists at 6:15. Then we get a post for Strome on a net drive. So the posts are just not working for Strome tonight. The shots are 8-4 for the Kraken at 8 minutes. The Ducks, I thought they were defending much better in the third period than they did in the first two. Well enough that I wanted to put that on the board. 2:43 left. Seattle calls a timeout. They also pulled the goaltender. And at 18:44, Frank Vetrano hits the empty net to ensure the victory for Anaheim. They win this one 6-4. They go to 21-23-6 on the season. Seattle 22-27-3 as their hopes for getting back into the hunt fade. Shots on net, 8-7 Anaheim in the first, 11-6 Seattle in the second, 12-9 Seattle in the third. Final shots 30-23 for Seattle. Power plays Anaheim 0-2, Seattle 1-3. The hits 16-12 for Anaheim. Dostal had a rough start, but he recovered from it. 26 saves on 30 shots. Philip Grubauer, 17 saves on 22 shots. A 773 save percentage tonight. His save percentage is so... And if you look at the analytics, I don't understand. If you had a goaltender who had stats that were similar to Decord's as the backup, Seattle's still in the hunt for a playoff spot. I'd say they'd be above 500. I think they'd be breathing down Calgary's neck. But if you look at the record for Grubauer, if you look at the numbers and everything else, I'm very surprised Ron Francis hasn't made a move when we've seen how many different goaltenders have been moved. So I just wanted to say that tonight because even though, I mean, I'm rooting for the Ducks to, go on a run and end up above 500 by the end of the year, but it is tough watching Seattle because they're a good team, and when Joey Decord's in the net, they have a good chance of winning. When Grubauer's in the net, it is tough. And I've been a fan of Grubauer's in the past. I'm surprised that Seattle, when you look at some of the moves that have been made in the NHL by teams when it comes to goaltending, I'm surprised Seattle hasn't made a move. Let me know your thoughts, especially if you're a Kraken fan that's been watching this. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.